not even on us.
Now it is.
Okay, so we're gonna present Stamps Arkansas. So the location, it's in the southeastern part of the United States, and its county is Lafayette. The town was known as a flag stop located on the St. Louis and Southwestern Railroad, also known as the Cotton Belt. So it's right there. Shut up. I mean, be quiet, please. Okay, so the history of stamps. So stamps got its name in the honor of the founder, Hardy James Stamps, in 1884. The city of Stamps owed its development to the lumber industry, and it's one of the largest of these lumber mills was the Vodka Lumber Company of Louisiana, which was in the town from 1889 to 1931. So, and it's not working.
You done goof.
Oh, no, that's not. Okay. So in 2000, the population was of 2,131 people. There was 830 households, 541 families, and the racial makeup was 44.3% whites and 54.48% blacks, and there's a bunch of others which aren't that important, I guess. And so about 22.8% of the families and 27.8% of the population were below poverty line, including 31% of those under age of 18 and 24.2% of those age 64 or over. So as you can see, there's like a lot of people who are below the poverty line in stamps. And the resident and sex offenders ratio are 206 to 1. So say like a population of like 800, like Sarah School, there would be like 4 sex offenders, which isn't really safe.
Not a lot.
That's bad.
That's bad. Why would you want 4?
That's
That's too much. And so this is the historical population as per U.S. Census. So
Census.
that's what I said.
Makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, as you can see, like now the population is diminishing because I'm guessing due to its like since it's not safe and stuff. And this is just some of the crime rates and stamps. And yeah, as Michael was demonstrating, there's quite a lot of like danger in stamps. So
Lots of stuff.
so education. The education is the Lafayette County School District, which includes the elementary school and their high school.
So their economy. Their city's economy is based on lumber, and the biggest company is the Vodka Lumber Company. The Louisiana and Arkansas Railroad and Cotton Belt Railroads transported the lumber throughout the nation, so throughout one railroad. The industry was at peak during World War I, because lumber was in great demand for the shipbuilding during the war. Allen White Company of Stamps was the largest industry in the county. They provided the largest payroll, and they had the greatest number of employees. They manufactured living room upholstery. To this day, with unaccustomed public display, the Mobil Oil Corporation and the International Paper Company, a high-stakes bidding contest that so far has made even 100 shares of vodka worth more than $300,000 in cash, which for a small town, that is a lot of money. Here is a picture of the most common industries for females. So we have the highest is healthcare and social assistance at 29%, and then educational services at 27%.
Sorry, just want to make sure, is that information like for now?
Yeah, that's for now.
2008 to 2012. And here's the same thing, but for men. And the highest is manufacturing, obviously. And then there's healthcare and social assistance. And then there's the most common occupations. There's driver sales, workers, and truck drivers for males. And there's other production occupations, including supervisors. As you can see, it does not add up to 100% because not everyone was employed. Same thing for females, except their number one was nursing, psychiatric, home aid, and there's other productions occupations, including supervisors. And there's the kind industry, played a big role in the city. So, what is cotton? Cotton is a shrub. Its fruit helped to spin off an industrial revolution in the 1800s, and it helped form the Civil War in the United States. It helped also populate the state of Arkansas because of its cotton picking became popular because of the convenient weather conditions in the south. It was hot and warm, helped grow. Profitable cotton prices crashed along with the stock market at the beginning of the Great Depression. A typical Arkansas cotton tenant, black or white, rented 40 acres from a landowner and farmed with his own mules, harrow, planter, and family for labor. Cotton growing in Stamps, Arkansas is a big business and has also become a modern one. So they still use it to this day, just not people picking it. And the religion in Stamps was mainly Southern Baptist, and there's Baptist Missionary Association, and the rest are really small. There weren't many Catholics. Fun facts. Stamps is the only town in the U.S. that stamps stamps on stamps. Maya Angelou called the South the land of painful reminders and vowed never to return to the South, and kept that vow until she was 40.
No.
Discussion question. We also had another question, which proves that
Oh,
this is the wrong PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, how did the location of the novel have an influence on Maya's life?
Like she probably saw stuff that she wouldn't see in the book. She was like, slavery and like how it was and stuff that maybe she would have seen before.
I agree. So slavery.
We can see that Stamps is entirely Christian, and that the religion of Islam played a really big part in Maya Angelou's life. And we can say there were other religions that maybe she would have been influenced, and would actually see different.
I agree. There's other major things. Racism. Segregation. No one?
She saw a lot of things about segregation and racism, especially when we said that there's a lot of white people who live there too, which means that there was a lot of segregation, for example, how like their houses were separated.
Well, you guys talked about the cotton industry, and obviously that was something she talked about in the book, and how she saw the slaves come back from work and how they looked and how they were always tired. And obviously, as a young child, like looking at that, she obviously had the perception that blacks were probably inferior because they were always enslaved for it.
And then our other question was, why do you guys think that Maya said that, or why did she call the land of the South land of painful reminders?
Well, I suppose because of all the struggle she had living there, especially as a young child, it's not the best environment to be in, considering, as we mentioned, the racism and all the like her upbringing was not the most common one, and therefore you can understand why she would want to go back.
also like the South is probably part of the states where there's the most racism. So, and she grew up with that, so like returning is kind of a constant reminder that like even today there's still inequality. And it's like a painful reminder for like Black people that they still have, like the white people in the South still have a long way to go even now.
Yeah.
How does Maya Angelou depict the cotton industry in the autobiography?
How does she describe it in her story?
Sure.
Is that for us or the class?
Everybody.
Terry?
She says that like she sees the slaves and they're like sweating and they have like things on their hands and like picking at the cotton. It's not a very comforting or like something a little kid should see.
Okay. And it was very hard, laborious work. Sure. Stuff.
Well, she had always had this image in her head that they were like happy, time takers in the field. But then when she actually like saw them in person, she realized that probably wasn't the case.
Sure. Okay, that whole stereotype that we had talked about earlier, relating to the happy kind of gay cotton picker who had kind of very few worries and just kind of ignorantly singing along and doing their task, but really, what were the realities of their task? Yes, very laborious, sure. Justine? Okay. Go.
Well, like in the book she says like she gets kind of angry that they sing and that they make it seem like they're happy, but they're not because obviously because of like the hard work and stuff. But also the fact that they couldn't do anything to get out of like the misery. Like,
Okay.
she had to see them as slaves and whatever much she can do, they can do.
Okay.
So as a little kid, when you can help someone or in your community or someone you, I guess, care about whether you know or not, because they're in the same community, but not a good environment.
Okay. Sure. Yeah,
She
you
does
want?
think it's infuriating for her race and people that they have to do this, like, and they don't have a choice out. And I think like she kind of feels a little lucky that like the family, they have a store and things like that, and they're pretty well off and they're to do so.
Okay. Sure. Perhaps like an appreciative nature attached to where she is and things that she has. Justine?
Also, when they were coming back from the field and they were all like miserable and she was like describing like how it was really rough, she said that the workers just they go to work every day knowing that like they'll never get paid enough to get out of debt.
There we
So
go.
like they're kind of like resigned to their fate. They know that it's unfair, but they just keep on because they have literally no other options.
Yeah. Tell me about the debt that they're in. Do we recall that?
Go poverty line.
Sorry? Yes. But why are they in debt then?
Like the store, like you can't pay for the building.
Sure.
Like they're in debt to mama, but like obviously she doesn't do much about it, but they are technically in debt, like whether it's for the products or maybe out, like out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taxes or something like that?
Yes, okay. So it's this idea that they are, you're right, this really hard, difficult, laborious work,
No reward.
but really no rewards from it.
During the Great Depression, their salary even went lower.
Yes, absolutely.
Men were making $32 a month and women were making $9 a month.
Yeah, but back in the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about. Yes?
I had, I didn't put it, because we forgot the segregation slide, it's not.
Okay, okay, okay. I don't know, that seems kind of high.
It's like,
But yes, you found
it's
that?
like around 6 cents.
What? Who's monitoring that?
If they work 10 hours.
What company's gonna monitor
Yeah.
hours later?
Depends on, maybe it depends on how.
The minimum wage
You have to
was
figure
not
out
the government
how long
area,
they'll stay working.
Work 11 to 12 for like slaves.
Yeah, they're working like 12-hour days. not gonna get a dollar.
This
Okay.
guy.
Good, so it's this idea that there seems to be like this cycle of misery that she reinforces with this whole, like, every morning, with the hopes perhaps of like this renewal, but then by the end of the day, that exhaustion, that extreme, tiredness, relating to the work, okay? And it seems as if like stamps, and maybe that's why your quote is interesting, the question never wanted to return, because it would be like, there seems to be this cycle of, I don't know, argue with me if you think I'm wrong, the cycle of ignorance that goes on in various southern states.
Yeah.
Okay? That it's kind of a continuous thing that they cannot get out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I think it's sad, like when she was younger, she had so many unanswered questions, like coming in and seeing all these people, all these slaves working hard, and she still doesn't know why, she doesn't understand, and then after that she sees babies shocked at what's happening with the dead body, and then they're shipped back to their mom. I think there's so many unanswered questions that she doesn't feel right in this place, like in this place. I think that's why she doesn't want to come back, because I feel like if she now knows that the questions that she was asking when she was younger, she would be terrified. I think she's trying to ignore the fact that that was a part of her life.
Sure. Great. Yeah. So after segregation, they were just workers, right? The slaves didn't get paid. No. Okay. No. But yeah, you can argue the segregation. Okay, so they got paid, really paid adequately. Yes?
But, madam, are you blaming the ignorance on people or on the U.S.? Because it's kind of, they're kind of forced into ignorance and they can't get out.
They're who's kind of forced into what?
Into ignorance.
All of the U.S.
All of the U.S.
No,
is
just
what?
stamps, like where she lived.
Oh.
We can see in the chapter where she graduates. There's no way that the school is going to get better.
They're not expected to get out.
Exactly, they're not expected to get out, so it's not their fault, really.
I think
It's not their fault, but they don't want to go back.
There's no one
Get out,
expecting
don't go back.
that black, there would be like a black power that would be rising, and a lot of like, rising, the civil rights movements, I don't think it was there at the time, but people would think like, yeah, we're gonna get out of this. I think it was just the norm. And like you said, I think it's just the ignorance that was set by the community that was there.
Yeah, I think that's what you said about the unanswered questions. Well, for most of the people in the South, it was really wishful thinking that they would get out eventually, because they couldn't do much about it going back to college.
Hey, you can't say
You know, it kind of interests me because, like, Mama is clearly a character who is not ignorant of things. And she is very characteristically a woman with stamps. Right? Like, she is a Southern black woman, like, at heart, right? To the core. I think very representative of that. And I wouldn't characterize her as an ignorant character. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Like the ratio to like smart to like dumb, she was like surrounded by all these like ignorant people. She was the one for the ratio.
Okay. Yeah.
There was some points where she actually stood up as the dentist, but there was also, I think in the book, one point she's like, I know what to do with, like, there was, so she knew how to react or speak with white people so she wouldn't get in trouble. So it comes back to like, she can't do everything, and also she's alone, so.
Okay. Emma?
I don't see why you would characterize her as a non-ignorant. Like, I see, I don't know, I'm not saying she's complete ignorant, but she does nothing to prove herself otherwise. Like,
Interesting. Go on.
She already knows it's really basically for black women in the South, but she doesn't like do more than she might use the Constitution.
Interesting.
There's a difference between ignorant and dumb.
Yes.
She's smart, but she's ignorant. She doesn't know, like she doesn't read for white writers, and I don't know if she went to school. So she's ignorant, but she's smart.
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
I don't think she's ignorant at all. I think she knows she knows what to do and what not to do at certain times, and she knows that she doesn't want to, like, about that author thing, Shakespeare and all that. I think that she knows that it's not a bad thing to do it, but if she leads Maya into that path, and Maya is like, okay, it's right to do it in this community, so she's gonna go up and to other black people that would be offensive, and I think that she would just be ignorant for the sake of Maya and Bailey, because she knows that the other people around her are ignorant. So she's just trying to make them good for the community that they're in.
Okay. How's Kevin?
Did Mama grow up in there?
Yeah.
When he said links to what Noah said, because she doesn't want to lose what she has, and she's also responsible for two kids. If she feels like they're not safe, she's going to come back, and then they come back. So like, I think she's pretty selfless, because she puts Maya, like, she goes against the white dentist for Maya, but she also can't.
She can do everything.
She can do everything.
I feel like it's Maya kind of just saying Mama is making it, but I don't think she's like, I feel like it's just the way that Maya talks about her. But when we see things that she does, like for example, the whole where we can see that she's not in it, she knows what's happening. She goes with it, she may know.
You have to put yourself in the shoes.
You can see that she has better values. Like, her values are respectful. And also the fact that during the Great Depression, she didn't really get affected by it because she still had more than what everyone else had. And she was just doing what she was doing to protect Bailey and Maya. Like when she saw that she couldn't do that anymore, she sent them up to San Francisco because they were getting exposed to too many things.
And then again, you see her from Maya's point of view. So Maya's a kid. And anything, like any adult will sound really smart beside a kid.
Now, and this is why, it's a very debatable topic, whether you think she's ignorant. And this is what I'm encouraging you to think about. Consider what Stamps does, because she, as I said, very characteristic of Stamps, of a Southern Black woman. Then compare her to somebody like Daddy Kleidel, okay? Who is not from Stamps, who, like, very interestingly uses, he's so resourceful, right? Like, he uses, it doesn't matter what laws are broken, he will use whatever it takes in order to kind of get ahead, in order to kind of make a living, in order to kind of make it, right? Exactly. And so the question that I'm trying to get you to think about is, think about what Stamps and how Stamps have characterized, or like how the settings of Stamps versus that of San Francisco, like how these settings kind of work towards contributing to this ignorance, or like perhaps a lack of ignorance and this whole character development. Because you could argue, and you can say it again, it's a debatable topic, is Daddy Kleidel ignorant?
Didn't he take his daughter to Mexico and get
No. Bailey.
Oh, it's Bailey.
Okay, it's Bailey Senior. I'm talking about Daddy Kleidel. Okay? Think about Vivian.
The rich.
One of Vivian's Conquest. That's how she.
We don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a whole chapter on it.
Yeah, he didn't talk to me about him, but nothing.
Chapter 29.
Well,
We don't talk about it.
I think we need to relook,
I think it comes back to racism and how the white culture, the black women characterize them. Like in Stamps, she obviously always felt like after graduation and Maya felt really inferior and she didn't fit in. So in San Francisco, there's not, there's racism, but she could still stand up for herself and get a job and push through like everyone else in that. Whereas in Stamps,
Okay.
I think that the whole part of ignorance like what they've lived. Like if you live in stands, like let's say there's a lot of violence. I think if you're someone like Mama who is a powerful woman, you know how to like make the best out of things. You know how to like not be ignorant but be smarter than what people think. So like people think that okay, Daddy kinda smarter than Mama in a way because he's resourceful, he does all these things. Well, I think that Mama would be smarter because I think she knows how to play her community in a way to make her think like what they want to think of her, but in deep she knows that she's, I guess, better than the rest.
Please don't make this a dizzy video. Okay, go.
I feel like if he was able to stand, he wouldn't survive.
Oh,
I feel like
interesting.
Mama, if she was to go to San Francisco, she would be able to survive, which means that she is independent. And if she can survive.
A very interesting concept. It's the idea of like displace both of those characters and see what would happen. Right? That would be a very interesting experiment.
He's kind of like ignorant in his own kind of way for not having the opportunity to see how they lived in Stanford. It was like a big, more segregation in Stanford than it was in San Francisco. He didn't get to see that, or like he didn't grow up there.
Okay.
So he's ignorant to that fact.
Okay. And so that's what, like, that's the point of these historical context presentations when we're looking at St. Louis, when we're looking at San Francisco, when we're looking at stamps, right? We're looking at these specific settings and we're exploring, like, their historical, their sociological, their social, geographical positions and how all of those effects contribute to the various characters and their development. See that? Okay? It's absolutely a great idea in terms of where you're headed for the focus statement. Okay? Other questions? Lovely. So,